What does middle adulthood look like? Well, maybe this is it. I'm middle-aged, I'm almost finished with child rearing, and my husband and I have successful careers. And for the most part, life is pretty mellow. Have you ever taken a class where one of the teacher's lectures went off topic? You might think that this week I'm going off topic, but let me just preface this by saying during middle adulthood, we should be past the egocentric view of our younger years and be ready to invest in relationships with those we come in contact with each day. We're going to be talking about emotional bank accounts, and if you have never heard of this concept, this may be a little different for you. But basically, what I want you to think about is the fact that you have an emotional bank account with every person you come in contact with. Some people, it's just a knowledge that it's there. But sometimes we're working very closely with people, and so we are continually making deposits and withdrawals. Are you wondering what deposits and withdrawals are? What I'm talking about is that our interactions either build up an emotional bank account we have with an individual or they withdraw from the emotional bank account. And so let me give you an example. This concept was actually brought about by Stephen Covey, and I'm not sure if you've heard of that name, but we'll learn a little bit more about him as we go forward and what his thoughts were regarding emotional bank accounts. So Stephen Covey wrote a lot of really good books, but he talked about actually, he's the one that came up with the concept of emotional bank accounts. And there's something that he talked about that we're making a deposit into emotional bank accounts. And although he was talking about more of a business standpoint, we can talk about emotional bank accounts related to everyday life. People who make deposits into emotional bank accounts of their family members, coworkers, and friends notice when somebody's having a bad day. They notice when somebody needs a little space. They notice that there's something bothering them or that they're excited about something. When we notice these little things, we are able to make deposits into bank accounts. It might also be something as simple as making someone's lunch, washing their car, or putting away the clothes. So we know what deposits are. What are withdrawals? Well, withdrawals are instances where we do something negative in a relationship, not always on purpose. Sometimes it just happens. Maybe you ran the checking account into the red and your spouse is upset. Maybe you forgot that you were supposed to meet your mom for coffee. Maybe you couldn't cover a shift for a coworker. Those are withdrawals. So in order to keep my emotional bank accounts with people from going bankrupt, I must make more deposits than withdrawals. Does that make sense? I recognize that I can't always make deposits. Sometimes I'm going to have to make a withdrawal. For instance, my 16-year-old wants to spend the night at a friend's house on a school night. My answer is no, which is a withdrawal in our bank account from his standpoint. But because I regularly express affection, make his breakfast and lunch, support his athletic endeavors, the withdrawal doesn't bankrupt us. I'm okay with this particular withdrawal because I know it's necessary. The way I handle it, though, can minimize its size. If I yell at him and ask, "Are you crazy? You know it's a school night," that probably wouldn't go over as well as calmly reminding him that it is a school night and that maybe he could reschedule for Friday night instead. It totally changes the way the person receives the information. Although I still wasn't willing to allow the sleepover, I gave another option instead. We want to be careful that we don't go bankrupt. And going bankrupt means that we're making a lot more withdrawals than we are deposits. Take a moment to think about the emotional bank accounts you've got going right now. There are probably a lot. Do any of them need deposits to get them back into a healthy range? Almost every time we come into contact with someone, it is either a deposit or a withdrawal. Keep your emotional bank accounts in good order. Make sure you're making lots of deposits each and every day. Have a great week.